Our next featured speaker I'd like to bring up is our mayor and my friend, Diane Martinez.
Hello, everyone. It's good to see you all here today. We appreciate your interest in what's going on in our town. Our city manager, John Moreno, will review most of the highlights from last year. But first, I feel compelled to talk about something that has had a profound effect on our city over the last couple of years. There are those who believe that the words Paramount and hexavalent chromium have become completely interwoven, that this has become our identity. I don't feel I am dismissing the significance of that problem when I say that reducing a city to a single issue is too simplistic. While the discussions over this became heated at times, even argumentative, I know that everyone involved has spoken from the heart. And through it all, remarkable progress has been made. The city never shied away from the questions that needed answers, providing as much information and assistance as necessary to tackle the issue. It echoes an episode from our past that some of you might remember. In the early 1980s, Paramount was called one of the worst suburbs in the country in a RAND Corporation study. Back then, city leaders and staff didn't ignore the report. They went into action mode. The spirit still flourishes here today. We have worked constantly with numerous agencies to fight the air quality battle. John has shared with you in the past many of the tools we used and approaches we took. One of the most significant was a long-term comprehensive reevaluation of our zoning code for the industrial areas. This was an exhaustive undertaking, unprecedented in many ways, to ensure future environmental protections. I would like to thank some of the businesses, experts in the industry, whose knowledge and assistance helped us develop this amending to our code. It was approved by the City Council in August 2018, and it will safeguard our city greatly in the future. Thankfully, the South Coast Air Quality Management District related the following in its June 2018 report, Updated Air Monitoring Plan for Paramount. They quoted, hexavalent chromium concentrations at all locations have declined substantially over time. Levels in the city of Paramount have been declining already and are now within the typical levels, end of quote. For this, we sincerely thank everyone who voiced their thoughts, opinions, and ideas. Like everything else here, teamwork mattered. The value of this teamwork was recognized toward the end of the year. The AQMD gave Paramount the Model Community Achievement Award at its 30th Annual Clean Air Awards. The award was a sturdy show of support that the actions we took were sensible, decisive, and appropriate. AQMD even said that we did, in the face of environmental troubles, could be a blueprint of other cities to follow. And we're not going to stop there. On that subject, I'll say more in a minute. We did a lot of other things last year to make Paramount clean and green. Just last week, we joined the Clean Power Alliance that has made it possible for electricity customers in Paramount to get their power from cleaner generating sources like wind and solar. We brought grid alternatives to town and promoted their program, which provides free solar installations for Paramount homeowners who qualify income-wise. We received a grant to install electric vehicle charging stations at various locations. These will be available soon, and residents with electric vehicles can charge up for free. The city has actually been going green for decades. We use clean fuel vehicles, LED lighting, and reclaimed water. We remove pollutants from stormwater before it enters the ocean. We use solar power at the city yard. We plant lots of trees. We require that contractors recycle demolition debris. We make sure that old tires are used to pave our streets. We're creating a bike master plan and much more. All of these efforts, in fact, won us another recognition last year, the Beacon Award from the Institute for Local Government for Environmental Sustainability Efforts. These are things we have done. Here's what we are going to do. We're going to be a determined, straightforward voice in expressing what we've learned as a city that has been in the environmental trenches. The past 2.5 years have been a time of education for all of us. Here's something that all of us have probably known all along, but because it's so pervasive and a part of our everyday lives, we take it for granted. The largest sources of air pollution in the LA Basin, particularly in our region, come from diesel engines, other motor vehicles, and the harbors. The ports of Long Beach and Los Angeles actually have plans to slash air pollution and health risks by replacing diesel trucks and cargo equipment with zero emissions technology over the next 2 decades. In our own small way, we have already begun to follow their lead on this regional problem. We started an air purifier rebate program last year that has subsidized the purchase of air purifiers and HVAC filters for residents. This will help keep those pollutants created by trucks and cars out of their homes. We're ending the Easy Rider shuttle system, those blue city buses that run on diesel, and replacing them with clean fuel-burning Long Beach transit buses. Also, we received a grant last year from the Port of Long Beach that paid for ultra-high performance HVAC filters at the Spanny Park Learning Center, which is near the 710 and the 105 freeways. Beyond that, the California Air Resources Board has a list of feasible measures for cities to take that can reduce tailpipe exhaust in our neighborhoods. For our future, we're studying that list to see what we can achieve in Paramount. We know that others have been in this fight for a long time. We know from our long history that partnerships are the way to establish success. So we're partnering with the groups that are doing everything they can. We've met with the advocacy group that represents cities in our region, and we are planning to meet with the ports to discuss ways we can support all of their efforts. We will continue to meet with others, along with our elected officials at the state and federal level, to gain further knowledge and help spread the message. While hexavalent chromium has been a menace in our industrial sector, rules have been adopted, controls have been developed, and monitoring has been instigated. We think it's time to turn our force to the larger issue at hand. With an eye on continued economic prosperity, we are fully committed to raising our voice of experience in ways that will hopefully produce healthy outcomes for all. The fact that we have such a strong sense of community here will enable and enrich that goal. It is indeed a lofty goal, but a worthy one. I think you would all agree. So thank you again for being here in support of our city. Each and every business represented here has a positive impact on our economy, and we truly value your presence in our community. At this time, it is my honor to introduce our city manager, John Moreno. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor. And thank you, President Tankledge, and all chamber members out there. It's always, let me get this, there we go, there I am. It's always been a pleasure to review the past year in Paramount with this audience, as you're all supportive and engaged in the city. So we're going to take a somewhat lighthearted angle today with a Did You Know structure that mixes fun facts with the real accomplishments of the city. So while reviewing 2018, I'm really struck by how much outreach, engagement, and connectivity there was between the city and the community. Of course, that's exactly what we're here for. We're here to be in touch with the people who live and work within our cozy 4.9 square miles on a regular and open basis, and to provide them with a safe, attractive, and well-run city. In Paramount, we've always tried to create a two-way street for communication and maintain close contact. Here's a quote I really like. It's by Valerie Jarrett, who was an advisor to President Obama. When you are in local government, you're on the ground, and you are looking into the eyes and hearts of the people. You are there to serve. It teaches you to listen. So here are some results of the City Council and city staff looking and listening this past year. But first, did you know that print is dead? Thanks to the internet and smartphones, weekly newspaper circulation in the U.S. has shrunk from 60 million in 1994 to 32 million today. Advertising revenue has gone from 65 billion in 2000 to less than 19 billion in 2016, and newsroom employment fell nearly 40% between 1994 and 2014. Those are just crazy, crazy numbers. On a local level, however, printed material is still an effective way to communicate, delivering a message to every address here in town. In fact, a survey of participants at one of our recent events found that a mailed postcard that you see here was how a majority of folks heard about it. We've actually increased the frequency of our print media that includes the Around Town newsletter. Around Town, it used to be distributed on a quarterly basis. Now it's monthly with shorter, more punchier stories. And of course, we still provide lots of content for the Pulse Beat every month. As the president mentioned, the president of the chamber, they've made some really nice changes to the paper's design, which I'm sure you've all noticed. But we've not ignored the more modern forms of communication. So Around Town has also joined the electronic world. To satisfy the appetites of our gadget fanatics, we launched an emailed version last year with about 4,000 subscribers so far. So please sign up for our e-quarterly newsletter on our website or by texting Around Town to 22828. Our Instagram and Facebook postings going out at least once a day, Monday through Friday, get a lot of traffic and comments. Please follow us there too if you don't already. So thanks to all these avenues, we've seen great increases in attendance at all of our events. Now, in a very significant public information move, we completely redesigned our city website last year. You can see this is the old website. It's now a new, more modern site with additional comprehensive features, including mobile-friendly access for our smartphone users. All of this to better serve our visitors. So we hope you use it, and we hope you like it. Here we go again. Did you know that in 1951, the first national live television broadcast occurred when President Harry Truman spoke at the Japanese Peace Treaty Conference in San Francisco? Now, fast forward to today's technology, we have joined the live streaming world with city council meetings broadcast on YouTube and Spectrum Cable. We then archive them on YouTube, and this is another way of bringing the city to the public. The city produces a lot of video, from short social media bursts to longer shows like Positively Paramount. Everything is at youtube.com/City of Paramount. So the next time you're surfing the web right at your desk while at work, wait, nobody does that here, right? Nobody, okay. Anyway, avoid those silly animal videos or the latest fashion influences, and maybe check out some of our Paramount stories. You can tell your boss you're doing research on the community and not being on the internet. With our council members, watching them on, with our council meetings, watching them on TV or computers is very, very convenient. There's no doubt about that. But we've always encouraged community members to attend in person. It's valuable for people to see how local government works and realize they have a voice that can be heard through public comments. In that spirit, we added a public comment update to each council agenda where I respond to any questions that were asked or also provide clarification to any comments that were given at the previous meeting. Outside of meetings and media and mailings, another way we reach out to our residents is by producing events that are positive, entertaining, and educational. It's definitely a vital part of what we do, and 2018 was a banner year for these. But before we talk about events, did you know? On average, a typical sofa lasts between 7 and 15 years, And the EPA says that 8.5 million tons or 17 billion pounds of furniture is thrown away each year. Unfortunately, about half of that seems to get dumped in our alleyways and on the street. So to help with the proper disposal of these things that won't fit actually in your trash can, our contracted trash hauler, Calmet, who's in the back, they offer free large item pickups for most residential accounts. Now, to help it make it even more convenient, the city started an event we call Clutter-Free Paramount. It's a one-stop shop for residents to drop off unwanted bulky items, e-waste, green waste, and documents for shredding. We just held our second clutter-free event last month and had almost double the number of participants. So we appreciate residents' enthusiasm in making this a success. Did you know it only takes about 6 weeks to manufacture, fill, sell, recycle, and then remanufacture one aluminum beverage can? So remember, next time you're drinking that Diet Pepsi, somebody else's lips, we're on it less than a week ago, so be careful with that. But anyway, that is an Earth Day fact about recycling. So in April, to coincide with Earth Day, we produced our first eco-friendly fair. It featured a nice variety of vendors and booths bringing information about living green to our residents. We even raffled off an electric lawnmower to one happy resident. For Arbor Day, we had our first Arbor Day tree planting that saw teams of volunteers add 180 trees to our already lush urban forest, all paid for by grant funds. In June, we mounted the second annual Heritage Festival, celebrating our history and our diverse culture. We then embarked on our annual summer concert series in Progress Park that features 6 bands playing a nice variety of genres. In November, we have a lot of events. In November, we had our first Veterans Day breakfast and fair, honoring those in town who have served our country. The highlight that day was Ms. Eleanor Otto, an original Rosie the Riveter, who shared some great stories. You know, she turns 100 years old this year, and she was laid off at Boeing when she was at the youthful age of 95 years old. No kidding, 95 years old. Yeah, she deserves an applause for that. She was an amazing woman. Then came our holidays. Paramount is all about the holidays. We love the holidays. And we launched into our renowned Halloween festival, our senior Thanksgiving lunch, and of course our Christmas traditions. In particular, it was the 50th anniversary of our beloved Christmas train. Once again, it stopped in every neighborhood, bringing 22,000 candy canes and apples and wide-eyed wonder for all the kids in Paramount. Another way of enhancing quality of life for our residents is by attracting good places to eat, shop, and conduct the business of living. Did you know about 3 billion pizzas, there's John, are sold in the U.S. each year? 3 billion. That's over 251 million pounds of pizza, almost 100 acres of pizza a day, 200 million square feet of pizza a month, and 6,000 slices in a lifetime. Whew. And the most popular seafood in the country? Shrimp. We all eat about 4 pounds a year of shrimp. Now, I mentioned these things to introduce our latest restaurants that opened last year, and that's the Pizza Press and the Stinkin' Crawfish. These 2 unique dining experiences completed the Clearwater Crossing development that also features Chipotle, Waba Grill, and The Habit. It's really been a hallmark of our revamped downtown, and to introduce an array of places to eat and go, and they all seem to be thriving. For instance, Paramount's first national chain sit-down restaurant, IHOP, opened in 2018. The city got involved, and we actually encouraged IHOP to come to town by providing grant funds to spruce up the building through our commercial rehabilitation program. Speaking of food, did you know that you burn more calories eating celery than celery contains? So the more celery you eat, the thinner you get. So think about that before summer arrives, right? Nutritious food, really good nutritious food, it leads to a healthy body. In that same manner, a robust building and economic development is a sign of a vibrant city. Our community development and building and safety departments were very busy this last year. Our building and safety staff issued 1,279 construction permits and conducted 13,769 inspections. That's between 2 guys that did those inspections. So, and that's actually up from 2017 when there were 11,261 inspections, and construction permits were about the same with 1,013. As far as new projects, construction began on Horchateria Ria Luna's flagship location on Paramount Boulevard in the former bank and dance studio building. It's expected to be open by late spring. Across town on Rosecrans, a new self-storage facility replaced a blighted, low-performing restaurant that was there, and it's really an attractive design, as you can see here on the slide. It looks more like an office building than a place to store people's stuff. When it came to new housing construction, the biggest development was a 30-home neighborhood called Cinta Azul. It took the place of a former horse stable property and little-used portions of the Home Depot parking lot, and it did sell out very, very quickly. You know, Paramount is a good place to live for a number of reasons, and our property values have been increasing because of that. The median home value in town, according to Zillow, which gets its information from public sources like county records, is actually $419,000, which is an increase of 4.1% over the last year. But what's really remarkable is that in just 6 short years ago, the median value was $218,000, and this led to an increase since then of 92.7%. We're adding 34 more high-quality housing units that began plan check and construction last year. Unemployment in the community continues to improve as well. The latest figures is 4.7 compared to 4.9 the previous year. I'm not sure if many of you recall, but at the peak of the recession, we had 18% unemployment at Paramount. So that's been a dramatic turnaround. Yeah. Now, in 2018, we held a variety of forums for residents to get information and give opinions on a number of programs affecting Paramount. These involved some new partners to enhance services to the community. There were a series of meetings to gain feedback on the changes that we're making to our city transit, as had mentioned earlier. These changes are grouped under the umbrella Paramount in Motion. We're ending the city-provided bus lines and the college-bound shuttle, among others, and replacing them with better options with partners like Long Beach Transit and also Metro. For instance, College-Bound provides transit service, taking Paramount students to just a pair of community colleges. With the changes, those kids will receive a transit card that will take them to any college destination of their choice on the Long Beach or Metro systems for free. Overall, these changes which take effect this weekend will improve regional mobility and convenience for Paramount residents. It'll save us quite a bit of money in operating costs and also avoid a hefty price tag to replace our aging fleet. Now, speaking of public transit, I mentioned Metro earlier. They will actually be building a light rail station, and it will pass through Paramount, and we'll have one station here. They are hoping to break ground in 2022 with completion by 2028. Once finished, riders will be able to go from Artesia to Union Station in downtown LA. This will be a great resource for us. At the same time, it could have significant impacts. This led Metro to holding a series of community meetings, one of which took place here in this room. And they held it to let residents know about it. But we were concerned again, so we conducted extensive outreach into the community. And as a result, this meeting here saw record attendance and was an educational experience for our community. Last year, we created a plan to combat homelessness using a grant from the county. To discuss the plan and to again engage our residents, there was a forum to share thoughts on this very important subject. Some intriguing and positive ideas were expressed that have become a part of our overall initiative. According to the LA County Homeless Count, we had 111 homeless individuals in Paramount in 2017. That figure dropped to 83 last year, so that is progress. Oh, thank you. To assist our homeless neighbors, we partnered with 2 nonprofit groups. In 2018, as a result, about 34 homeless people received outreach services with the help of such as medical attention, getting a state ID card, or getting temporary shelter. Now, another constructive goal for city government is engaging our youth. Last year, we took a step to increase participation in various family resources, like sports and before and after school care. We did this by entering into agreement with our partners at the YMCA. The Y brings its reputation and talents, and we were able to cut some of our operational costs, which is a win-win. And I believe the YMCA is in the back. Wave your hand there, Jeremy. Thank you very much, folks, for being here. One of the most ambitious endeavors Paramount does for its young people is through the Paramount Education Partnership. It was definitely mentioned earlier by Superintendent Perez, or as we call it, PEP, which includes the city, the school district, and the chamber, and is celebrating its 15th anniversary this year. So, you know, we hit a mighty milestone last year with the PEP scholarships. $1 million awarded since the program began. So that's definitely a testament to this program. I want to thank the school district, definitely for really stepping to the plate with their fundraising efforts. Last year, through various events and competitions, they contributed a generous $122,000 to the fund. That's amazing. The business community has really been the bedrock in regards to supporting the scholarship. So I'd like to show you a short video that we've made about these efforts.
My husband and I have been donating to PEP program ever since we first opened our coffee shop.
The PEP program is a wonderful scholarship program that helps local kids from the Paramount Unified School District get to college and help their financial needs.
My greatest investment, I think, is in spearheading a March Madness among all our schools. And as a result of that, in the last 2 years, we've collected over $250,000 in scholarships for our students.
The kids that would be receiving it and have received it in the past are definitely the kids that need that extra amount of scholarship just to make things a little bit easier for them to pay for school.
It's really a community-based program with every segment of the community investing and participating in its success.
We're unique that we have a school district that works great with the city and the city council. It's a grassroots program. It comes from the bottom up through the community. It's accepted by families, parents, the kids, and gets to the council and the school board.
I want our kids to have every opportunity and every support that they can to be able to make their college dreams a reality.
The opportunities that this scholarship has afforded me is to attend this beautiful campus, have the college experience, meeting new professors, meeting new people, creating bonding relationships with my peers, and just getting a better education.
The opportunities that the scholarship has afforded me is being able to pay my necessities, such as the school materials and books. So the scholarship was able to give me the opportunity to be able to be prepared in my classes.
When I got the scholarship, I had no words. It motivated me to be in college even more, because knowing that I have support from my Paramount community, from my teachers, the staff there, the council members, and all the ones in charge of the PEP scholarship.
This year we hit the $1 million mark, which means that we've given $1 million in scholarships to Paramount High School graduates and or residents. They thank us for that opportunity to get them started, and they've accomplished what they've wanted to do in their life.
It's a very important, worthwhile contribution that you make to the community, and that you're really shaping the future leaders of the city of Paramount.
For the donors, I don't think that there are enough words to say thank you. The payoff, we're seeing it with our kids, we're seeing it with our city, and our kids are succeeding, and thank you for those donations.
I'm very grateful and I'm very thankful for everything that you guys have done to make this scholarship available and happen for us incoming freshmen.
To those of you who have already donated or are considering donating, I really want to thank you. It really makes a difference. A special message I have to the donors is thank you so much for being able to help us out and contributing to an amazing organization of leading us to success. I know we are the next generation, and personally I won't disappoint you guys, and soon maybe I can become a donor as well.
Benefits of donating to the Paramount Education Partnership include publicity in the Pulse Beat newspaper, city website, the Around Town newsletter, and city social media platforms. For more information on how to donate and to see a list of current PEP donors, visit ParamountEducation.org.
Great, and I believe Trepepi Smith is the consultant that put that video together. Are they still here? Right there. Yeah, very good work at doing that. Thank you. Thank you. Now, turning to the realm of capital projects, but first, did you know Paramount Iceland has what may be the only pipe organ playing regular in any ice skating rink in the country? Right near Iceland is our public plaza, the Pond, which will be celebrating its 20th birthday this year. The Pond is a tribute to the ice skating history that is embodied in Iceland. We did a renovation project there last year, replacing the decorative ice surface with something sturdier and prettier, using money from our public art fund. Once that was finished, the Pond became the backdrop to some great press coverage that Paramount received on KABC Channel 7 morning newscasts. Former resident and city employee Annabelle Munoz, a reporter at KBC, she came to town. She shared her memories about growing up and working here and featured residents and local businesses on the show. Did you know the first publicly sanctioned dog park was located in Berkeley in 1983? No big surprises there, I guess. So Paramount doesn't quite have the open space that a Berkeley has, but we do have a lot of dogs here. So to help their owners and to keep all of our parkland for human use, we entered a partnership with the city of Southgate on a community dog park in Hollydale Park. It's just over our northern border and available for all Paramount people and pooches. Did you know? The first asphalt-based pavement was laid in Paris in 1858, and the first similar paved road in the U.S. was in Newark, New Jersey in 1870. I say this because repaving local roads is one of a municipal government's most important jobs. We have a long-term plan for balancing our residential and major arterial streets for upgrades on the roads, curbs, and gutters. Last year, we completed portions of heavily traveled Alondra and Paramount Boulevards, as well as several neighborhood avenues. We have another multi-year project along our main streets, and that's for water conservation. We've been switching over to drought-tolerant landscaping for our traffic medians. In 2018, we did this on portions of Alondra and Paramount and replaced a lot of dead grass. We still have more medians to go, and many of them have turned to dirt like this. So because former Governor Brown signed an executive order banning cities from watering lawns. So if you see one of these scraggly medians, rest assured that we're aware of it, and we'll be freshening it up soon. You know, the city's top job, our number one priority, is protecting the community. The most pronounced way is through our public safety department. Working with the Sheriff's Department, we saw another substantial decline in Part 1 crimes last year. It was a 9% reduction. And that included, and that included a 50% drop in homicides and a 22% decrease in auto theft. So if you look at the city's 10-year trend, these crimes are down by a big 14%. In fact, you have to go back to the early 1970s to find comparable levels when, of course, we had a lot fewer people that were living here. For example, in 1970, when our population was 35,000, there were 1,579 crimes. Over the next 2 days, crime went a little bit crazy, and it peaked somewhere in 1994. And then if you jump to last year, in a city roughly 55,000 people, we had a total of 1,761 crimes. So nearly 50 years ago, there were 45 crimes committed for every 1,000 people in Paramount. Today, there are 32 for every 1,000 people. Now, I call that extraordinary progress, and I want to thank the Sheriff's Department for being our steadfast partners. I believe they're in the building, so congratulations, guys. There is a subset of crime stats that shows even further truly remarkable improvement, and that's with gang activity. Over the past 10 years, gang-related crimes have declined by 94%. I like to say that again, 94%. So if you see here on the slide, in 2009, there were 145 such crimes, and last year there were 8. Doing the battle with gangs through our GRIP program in schools and with specialized programs with the Sheriff's Department has been a focus in Paramount for many years, and it's really made a big difference. You know what also has made a big difference last year? To specifically deter property crimes, we started a home security rebate pilot program. This gave up to $200 for the purchase of a security product or service. I know it's a funny video. For a product or service like an alarm system, security cameras, doorbell cameras, exterior floodlights, and so on. It was hugely successful, and all the money set aside was dispersed. I like to think it contributed to the 25% drop in burglaries that we had last year. Public safety received the largest chunk of our budget, and that budget was a balanced one last year. We've noticed a trend, however. Even with all the cost-cutting measures we've taken over the last 5 to 6 years, due to the elimination of our redevelopment agency, Expenses are stubbornly outpacing revenues. Now, we'll be watching this very closely over the coming months as we develop our budget for the next year. Being conservative and careful with the public's money has always been a hallmark of Paramount. To reinforce this for the second year in a row, we had our auditors do an extra audit to see if we have holes in how we manage our books and pay our bills. This produced some extra controls to further protect taxpayer funds. Now, as I draw to a close, get ready for an onslaught of trivia. Here we go. I love this stuff. Did you know that lightning strikes the earth 6,000 times every minute? A quarter of all your bones are in your feet. 8% of people have an extra rib. A 1-minute kiss burns 26 calories. Unless food is mixed with saliva, you can't taste it. Rabbits like licorice. The longest recorded flight of a chicken is 13 seconds. Birds need gravity to swallow. Cats have over 100 vocal cords. Did you know that it's physically impossible for pigs to look up in the sky? The first letters of the months, July through November, spelled Jason, and Venetian blinds were actually invented by the Japanese. All of these tidbits were on didyouKnows.com. The site also said that the oldest word in the English language is town, which would be wonderful and fascinating, but the BBC News website says the oldest English words are I, we, the numbers 2 and 3. So who knows, maybe truth is an elusive thing. Maybe all these facts that I just shared with you are all baloney. One thing, however, is true beyond a shadow of a doubt. The internet is truly amazing. And you know what else is amazing? The city of Paramount. We truly are a top-notch town full of committed and caring people. I speak for everyone who works in all of our departments when I say it's our pleasure and privilege to keep things moving in the right direction and serve our entire community. I appreciate for all you being here today and listening to me. Thank you very much and have a good rest of your day.